I welcome you. This is the Messiah Revelation Ministry, focusing on end times. And today we are looking at Lucifer and the woman and the seed of the woman. Lucifer and the woman and the seed of the woman. How Lucifer would deal with the woman, Israel, and the seed of Israel in the end times. How Lucifer would deal in the end times with the Hebrew Israelites, who are the seed of Jacob, the seed of Israel. Prophetically, we look into that issue as we look at the events happening in the world and the future hostility towards the children of Israel who are scattered over the world. Lucifer will make war against the seed of the woman. And we are talking about the Hebrew Israelites, the seed of Jacob, the seed of Israel. Prophetically, the revelation is quoted in the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 3, where John saw a wonder in heaven. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to deliver her child as soon as it was born. Revelation chapter 12 talks about a woman, and that woman symbolizes Israel, Jacob, and the seed of Jacob. You're already aware that the Hebrew Israelites, the seed of Jacob, are scattered over the world, and the time for their gathering is coming. It is coded in the book of Isaiah, a prophecy book, Isaiah 11:11. The Messiah, Yeshua, Jesus Christ, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, will gather them, the outcasts of Israel, and the dispersed of Judah from all the 4 corners of the earth. And there will be a battle. Lucifer will attempt to destroy the children of Israel. And throughout history, Lucifer has done that. You remember the case of Moses in Egypt, when Lucifer attempted to destroy Moses. The case of the Messiah is clear, when Lucifer attempted to destroy the Messiah and eventually had him crucified. He didn't know that the Messiah was to be the savior of the world through his death. And today we are looking at the end times as the Messiah is ready to gather the seed of the woman, Hebrew Israelites who are scattered over the world. We are looking at potential tribulation that the seed of Israel, the Hebrew Israelites, will go through wherever they are scattered. And as we are talking about this topic, we are talking about a global hatred against the seed of Israel. As we talk about the seed of Israel, I'm not talking about those who claim they are the Jews who were gathered in Israel in 1948. I'm talking about the Hebrew Israelites who fit Deuteronomy 28 and who fit prophecies in Genesis 15, verses 13 to 14, and who fit the prophecy of the regathering of the children of Israel as encoded and decoded from Isaiah 11:11. The potential, or it's not the potential, it's the imminent war, tribulation that the children will pass through. Our brother Daniel talked about it in Daniel chapter 12, verse 1, there will be a tribulation such that it has never happened before. And when the victory is about to be clinched, the battle comes in, because Lucifer and his agents will try to preempt the delivery of the seed of Jacob. And today we are looking at current events, and I'll start from an issue with Amaka, Amaka. I was watching a video where a lady by name Amaka, claiming to be an Igbo from Nigeria, made a video. And in that video, she said so many bad things about Igbos, even though she claims to be Igbo. And what she said, I cannot repeat them, but these were things which will bring hatred against Igbos in Nigeria and all over the world. As a preliminary matter, the Igbos, IGBO, they are people from Nigeria, and they are Hebrew Israelites because their ancestors are from Israel. So they are Hebrew Israelites in Nigeria, and part of them are scattered all over the world. They were part of the Hebrew Israelites who were taken by the heathen nations, the Gentile Europeans, through the transatlantic slave trade. So Amaka said so many things, and what she said was definitely an incitement for violence against Igbos all over the world. And how can an Igbo do that? You can look at it as a psychological operation, as the agents of Lucifer are bent on creating confusion among black people, among Negroes, and particularly among the Hebrew Israelites. So an Igbo claiming to be an Igbo, a lady living in Canada, posting a video that ridicules Igbos and then has the potential to subject Igbos to violence all over the world. You have to remember that when Nigeria got independence, there was a civil war, and the Igbos were the subject of the civil war as they went through torture, they went through genocide, and some of them went into exiles. And I was old enough to see the consequences of that civil war, because some of the Igbos who were in Nigeria had to flee the civil war, and they came to Ghana and other parts of West Africa. And so that is an attempt to sow dissension among the Hebrew Israelites, among the Igbos, so that there will be calamity against the Igbos. The Igbos are Hebrews. Henry Kissinger, a former Secretary of State of America, recognized it, and he wrote a memo to the President of the United States saying that the Igbos of Nigeria are Jews. Definitely, I wouldn't use Jews, I would use Hebrews. And so US recognizes that the Igbos are Hebrews. And somebody claiming to be an Igbo living in Canada is doing a video, very hostile video, inciting violence against Igbos over the world. Satan's playbook. In the last days, Satan will wage war against the children of Judah. And here we are looking at the Igbos from Nigeria. We are moving to the next theater of war against the Hebrew Israelites. And here we go to England. In 2024, what is going on in England? There is racial tension, race war against black people in England, black immigrants in England, even including black people who were born in England. There were videos and some people, racist white people, saying that go back to your country, go on the boats. And so there is anti-Negro sentiment in England now. England is a Gentile nation that participated in the infamous transatlantic slave trade. And the Queen of England Queen Elizabeth I. He owned a slave ship, and her slave ship was instrumental in scattering the Hebrew Israelites from the slave coast of West Africa to the four corners of the world. After all, it was England that colonized Ghana, where we have the Elimina Castle and the Cape Coast castles. These are slave dungeons that were used by the Gentile Europeans to transport Hebrew Israelites from the slave coast of Africa to all the four corners of the earth. And so it's very ironic that England is now saying, go back to your country. And England has forgotten the help that the Negroes contributed to England. World War II, who fought for England? Indian army fought for England. Not only that, Negro armies fought for England. My own grandmother, my grandfather from Ghana went and fought for England. And something happened. The soldiers, the Ghanaian soldiers who went to fight for England in World War II, they were cheated. They were promised some allowances. The allowances were not given to them. February 28, 1948, these men, they protested in Ghana for their allowances to be paid. The European powers, imperial powers, colonialists, and exploiters, they responded with gunfire and they killed them. Air servicemen were killed in broad daylight, February 28, 1948. And God was using this genocide to create the condition for the agitation for independence. And so Ghana, a British colony, became the first colony in Black Africa to gain independence, thanks to the atrocities perpetrated by England to Ghana. And now England has the audacity to say Black people should go home. I want to remind England that there was a time that British citizens, I'm talking about white British citizens, when they finished college or even high school in England, they threw their passport away and they went to Kenya to look for a job. And because they were white, they were given preferential treatment. And I would recommend that they read a book written by their own English scholar, Colin Lees. The title of the book is Underdevelopment in Kenya. Underdevelopment in Kenya. Kenya being underdeveloped by England. And the same way they underdeveloped Kenya, they underdeveloped Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe, and they also underdeveloped South Africa, and they perpetrated an apartheid system that remained in South Africa until Russia and the communist nations fought on behalf of the Africans to gain their independence for them. Otherwise, the British, the so-called nations that founded quote-unquote democracy, did not find it democratic to have democracy in the countries that they colonized, from West Africa to East Africa, and from North Africa to Southern Africa. World War II, where were you, England, when your soldiers died and then you needed immigrants from Negro nations to come and build your country, and they came to clean your toilets and do menial jobs? There was a time I was traveling and I got into Heathrow Airport, and there was a racial incident, and I remember that the director of the Heathrow Airport came to talk to me, and I told him, have you forgotten your history? 500 years you were in Africa, and you had access to the gold in Ghana, and you stole it, and your ancestors did steal resources from Africa, and you didn't come to Africa with a visa. You just intruded into Africa, and now when Africans are passing through your airport, you are displaying racism in violation of all international accord regarding the freedom of movement, particularly the freedom to pass through nations such as England when you are traveling to other parts of the world. And apart from Kenya, that was underdeveloped by England. When I say underdeveloped, I'm talking about their resources stolen and exploited by England. In addition to Kenya, underdevelopment in Kenya, a book written by Colin Lees, a British white scholar. You read that, and then you also go into Congo, a nation that was colonized by Belgium, and as a result of the Berlin Conference, the infamous Berlin Conference that was organized by European powers, 14 of them, in Berlin, Germany, 1884, 1885, which gave Congo a nation with gold and diamond as a gift to King Leopold II of Belgium, and for him to exploit and deprive Africans of their resources. And now you are in Belgium, and they are saying that black people should go home, Africans should go back to their country. And you are in England, and they are saying that go back to where you came from. And after 500 years of colonial exploitation and destruction of Africans' resources, it is the beginning of anti-Negro sentiment, and I'll call it Negrophobia. And Negrophobia is beginning to happen, and England is setting the stage for Negrophobia, anti-black racism, and racism against the children of Judah who are scattered over the world, scattered by slave ships, one of them owned by Queen Elizabeth I, who was the Queen of England. United Kingdom being one of the leading perpetrators of the transatlantic slave trade. The enslavement of the children of Judah from the slave coast, the Kingdom of Judah, in West Africa, where British established colonial presence and participated in the enslavement of the children of God through the transatlantic slave trade. And as we are approaching the time for the gathering of the children of Judah, heathen Gentile England is now waging war, racist war, anti-black war, and telling black people to go back to where they came from. And I saw a racist white person in a video saying, go back to Africa, go back on the boat. And they have forgotten their history. The history is not taught, it's suppressed. The history of oppression and suppression of Hebrew Israelites is suppressed in all the Gentile nations that participated in the transatlantic slave trade, talking about England, talking about France, talking about United States. The war against the children of Judah, it is not white war against black people. It's also black on black war. Blacks against blacks. Hebrew Israelites against Hebrew Israelites. Black on black struggles is all part of the orchestration, division, divide and rule strategy instigated by Lucifer and his agents, and some of them are presidents, some of them are prime ministers, some of them are mayors, and some of them are police officers. They are all parts of the Psalm 83 war or conspiracy to wipe out and to suppress the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites who are scattered over the world. So black on black. And so in the United States, you see Hebrew Israelites, they don't even know they are Hebrew Israelites. They don't care if they are Hebrew Israelites because they are more white than black. They are more white. They think more white than black. And so you see tension going on the social media, and whether you are talking about Candy Owens, sometimes talking for black people and sometimes talking against black people. And so you don't even know where she stands, whether she's for black or she's against black. And it's an example of black on black fights or struggles or squabbles, and is instigated in part by the establishment as part of the conspiracy against the children of Judah who are scattered over the world. We're talking about black on black violence, black on black violence in terms of killings, murder, the structural violence going on in black communities in the United States is part of it. We are not forgetting the historic animosity between blacks in the United States and blacks from other parts of the world. An historic example is the infighting among the early black leaders, W.E.B. Du Bois versus Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey from Jamaica and W.E.B. Du Bois. They didn't get along. It's part of the black on black struggles and dissension and conflict and animosities, whatever you want to call it. If you visit an HBCU, a historically black college and university in the United States, you typically see black people from America, African Americans, and then you see black people from Africa, and then you see black people from the Caribbean, and then you see the circles of confusion, tripartite confusion: blacks, African Americans, blacks, Africans, and blacks, Caribbeans, and doing their own infighting among themselves. And that's why people like Randall Robinson, who founded Trans African Forum, salute him and respect him because he was too he was too big for that petty struggles and dissensions and hatred and jealousies among people of the black diaspora. So black and black on black violence and struggle is all part of the confusion and dissension among the Hebrews who have African heritage scattered over the world, Hebrew Israelites scattered over the world and fighting among themselves, whether we are talking about African Americans fighting against African Americans, or African Americans fighting against Africans, or Africans fighting against African Americans fighting against Caribbeans. And even inside Africa, you see Africans fighting among themselves. Kenyans versus Kenyans, Nigerians versus Nigerians, Yoruba in Nigeria fighting against Igbos in Nigeria. It's all part of the black on black fighting and infighting. And you can see it creates confusion and animosity and distrust within the Hebrew Israelite community all over the world, whether you're talking about Brazil, Haiti, Jamaica, United States, Nigeria, Kenya, Timbuktu, Zimbabwe, and South Africa. And if you go to South Africa, you see it clear. Even though African nations fought on behalf of South Africa after apartheid was toppled, you see a lot of xenophobia held by some South Africans against other Africans from the other parts of the continent. It's part of the struggles. It's also part of the infighting, and it's part of the engineering of conflict by the enemies of God to disunite the Hebrew Israelites and to create confusion. But hopefully, the Lord is aware of that. He's aware of the confusion created against his children. And so Ezekiel talks about it. And so we'll read Ezekiel for the hearing, Ezekiel chapter 37, where Ezekiel 37, verse 16, the Lord told Ezekiel, "Thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companion, then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, for all the house of Israel, his companion." Verse 17, Ezekiel 37, verse 17, and join them one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in thy hand. So regardless of the confusion created among the Hebrew Israelites, whether the confusion is from the white community, whether it's from the black community, the Lord has a plan. And the plan is to join the stick of Ephraim with the stick of Judah, so that there will no longer be dissension. The Hebrew Israelites will be united despite the orchestration and machinations and the schemes of Lucifer and his agents. The Hebrew Israelites who are scattered over the world, a time is coming, they will be gathered based upon prophecies in Jeremiah, in Ezekiel 37, verses 16 to 17, Isaiah 11:11. And they will come under one stick. No longer will there be confusion between Africans from Africa and Africans who are in America and Africans who are in the Caribbean, Africans who are in India, who are in Babylon. They will come together because the Lord has decreed that the stick of Ephraim will join with the stick of Judah, and they will become one stick, and they will be ruled under the kingship of the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Is coming very soon. Repent and accept his message, obey his command, be holy, and set yourself apart. And remember that you are in prophecy. Lucifer has a plan to fight the woman and her seed. And the woman refers to Israel, and the seed refers to you, the Hebrew Israelites who are scattered over the world. You are the subject of prophecy, and Lucifer has his eyes on you, and his agents will do everything possible, even if to wipe you off from the face of the earth. That's why they hate you so much, and you need to be aware that you are the apple of God's eye, and no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And that is the message that I have for you. My email is raptureafrica@yahoo.com. I'm leaving it in the description box. Thank you. Lucifer and his agents have a plan to prevent your exodus and to let you lose your identity, and also to sow seeds of dissension within you, so that you will fight among themselves and then they will laugh at you. But they can no longer laugh at you because you are now awakened. You are now in light. You are not like yesterday when you were in darkness. Thank you for watching this video.